Welcome back, and today we're talking about Noblesse episode 6. So like always, let's just jump into it. As you could expect from episode 6, after the cliffhanger that we got last episode, you knew right off the bat it was going to go down this episode. But before we jump into it, let me remind you to like and subscribe. It definitely helps the channel out. But we're here for Noblesse, so let's talk about it. The episode starts off with Rai essentially being the badass that he is. Now, I will say this whole scene that happened in this episode is almost about the same that happened in Noblesse Awakening. Whenever Rai fought the villain of that episode, it was essentially the same thing. It's still cool, it's still awesome, especially for those that haven't seen Noblesse Awakening. But to me, it kind of felt like some of the same old things. But it's alright because I still loved it. Again, Rai is an overpowered character, and I'm glad that we got to see just how strong he really is. I mean, he did not even struggle a little bit in this fight. He came in with the mad disrespect. He told Kranz right off at the beginning to shut up. Nobody gave him permission to speak, to bow down, because nobody gave him permission to move. I mean, if that ain't a boss level move, I don't know what to tell you. But I absolutely love it when a character just absolutely disrespect somebody to that level. Is such a badass moment. I love animes like that. And it was awesome, honestly. It was really awesome. We see this time, though, it's a little bit different. Because in Noblesse Awakening, Rai actually put Monobu and Yusuke to sleep. He actually put them to sleep so they didn't remember what happened here. And in this scene, it was a little different. They were still awake. They were seeing, Rai being this crazy OP. We see, Kranz really can't do anything. I mean, he tried to attack, but he just flick him off. And whenever Monobu asked for help, right? Whenever Monobu was telling Rai to help Tao out because Tao was about to die. And I called it, I think maybe like 2 episodes ago, because we see that Tao and Tekio, they're a whole different type of people, right? They're not evil like Sharks and the other guy. They're definitely good. They're doing it for a specific reason. We see Tekio. He's the one that has a sister. We're gonna talk about that later. But so far the Union has his sister hostage, so that's why he's doing everything that he's doing, because he's trying to protect somebody. And that whole fight between Tekio and Frankenstein was a whole different fight as well. Frankenstein is on a whole nother level. Whenever he released the power that he had, he essentially just one-shotted Tekio. It was no contest. Tekio was getting stabbed all over the place, and the only reason he kept going was because of his sister. So Tekio does have a little sad story that we're going to talk about later, but essentially it was really a one-sided fight between all these different characters, right? Sierra, whenever she was fighting that dude that loves to eat, he got one-shotted. Rai one-shotted Kranz, and I'm happy that Rai didn't have to tell Monobu and Yusuke, look, I'm gonna save Tao because you asked me to, right? Like, you don't have to beg. They're friends, and it's awesome, right? It's awesome. Rai doesn't look down upon the humans just because of how weak they are. It was a sweet moment telling Monobu and Yusuke that, both of them are really important to Rai. So it was an awesome moment. Honestly, I wish the fight lasted longer because it was just so one-sided. The animation was a little bit stepped up in this episode compared to some of the little fights that we got earlier. Of course, that's expected because this was supposed to be like the biggest moment so far that we got in 6 episodes. So I'm glad the animation department stepped it up. It was awesome. Now, I was kind of disappointed a little bit because whenever the whole fight was done, we see that Frankenstein spurred Takio. Tao, of course, is fine because Rai saved his life. I was honestly waiting for M21 to be the one casualty in this whole mission because he did kind of sacrifice himself to free Regis so Regis can fight Kranz and save Monobu and Yusuke, but that was in vain. So I was really hoping that his sacrifice would have been the end of him, because it would have been a nice character to lose early on to kind of set the perspective that not everybody is safe. But as it turns out, M21, he's fine, he's doing well, and heck, he's gonna get a power-up later on, because we had that interaction between M21 and Rai, where Rai kind of sucked a little bit of his blood and showed him just how strong M21 is going to be. Now, that's important because if you have somebody so powerful like Rai that he can just come in, save everybody, and one-shot everybody, you really won't need, there's never going to be any danger, right? That's why I'm glad towards the end of the episode, we get to see the interaction between Rye and Frankenstein, where they showed us the flashback of Rye telling Frankenstein, from now on, your power will be sealed. You can't use it unless I give you permission. Even though he broke that rule, he did it to save, you know, his master. His master was threatened. You don't threaten Rye in front of Frankenstein because he will one-shot you. It was awesome. But yeah, that little flashback is going to give us a little bit of details between their past and how long they've known each other. But the important thing was whenever Rye, we see him coughing up blood because of all the power that he used. So there's definitely a side effect to him using his full power, and that's a good thing because we know that, you know, he can't actually go in and one-shot everything because he could potentially die, right? We don't know if Rye is immortal or not. He could potentially die if he uses his powers way too much. So it's important for the characters that are around Rye, right? Like Frankenstein, like Tekio, Tao, M21, those characters, it's important for them to get stronger so they don't have to rely on you know, Rye. Same with Regis and Cieta. Although I do feel like Cieta, she might be, you know, like the hidden power in there because she definitely seemed like she wasn't struggling at all. She was definitely, I'm pretty sure she didn't release her full power. So I would love to see more of her flashbacks and her backstory. And it was awesome. This episode was really good. I loved it. The whole, you know, eating dinner. We see that Regis and M21, even though it seems like, you know, Regis is still holding a grudge, it's more like a you know, a complicated friendship, right? Where Regis doesn't want to admit that he was wrong about M21, and M21 knows that Regis doesn't mean any harm, that he's just like a little stubborn little kid. So you know, they accept that fact. I think they're gonna be great friends. The food, I gotta say, looked amazing. I don't know why in anime every single piece of food always looks amazing. I got hungry just watching it. It was awesome. But essentially everybody got a happy ending in this episode, right? We see that Tao and Tekio, whenever they were about to leave, M21 asked them to stay with Frankenstein and Rye. And of course, Rye and Frankenstein, they kind of, you know, they're really good people, honestly, right? Like, I feel like you can take advantage of how good they are. And maybe that's something that we'll explore later down the road whenever the anime keeps going. Maybe not in season 1, but if it gets renewed for season 2 or maybe in the webtoon, you know, I can feel like their goodness could get exploited somehow because they accept anybody, right? Like, remember, not even 5 minutes ago, Tekio and Tao were on the wrong side, right? They were the enemies. And, you know, one minute later, they're friends having dinner, so they were forgiven for everything they did. Now, I do want to talk about Tekio and his sister because it was sad because we see that Tekio, he really doesn't like killing people. Heck, last episode, Sharks revealed that every time Kranz gave the order to Tekio, right, to kill kids and women, Tekio disobeyed that order. So he is a good person, but he really wants to protect his sister, no matter the cost. So it's one of those situations where Tekio, while he wants to be a good person, he's not allowed to be a good person because of the hostage situation that he's in, which we find out is not true, right? We see that the Union kind of planted fake memories onto Tekio to make him believe that he has a sister. So that's messed up. So, you know, the Union, I think that's going to be like the big bad guy. I think the Union is going to be the organization that needs to come down because they're definitely not up to any good. They definitely have some messed up plans. I mean, why would you insert fake memories to manipulate somebody like that? That's messed up. Now, I do wish that the Union, whenever we face against them again, that there's a power up, right? I really hope like the top, you know, leaders of the organizations are just as powerful as Rye. Because while I love me a great OP character, I also want to see that OP character go all out at least once. So that would be very important. But yeah, overall, it was a great episode. I absolutely loved it. I've been waiting for so long for this because honestly, the first couple of episodes of Noblesse kind of let me down, especially with the whole awakening situation where that's truly episode 1. But yeah, I can't wait for episode 7. Hopefully they introduce a new villain right away. Hopefully we keep the same pacing. We're at the halfway point at this point, and I have to say, hopefully they keep, you know, improving each episode, keep giving us more OP fights because the fights in this episode I loved. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you thought of this episode, and like always, leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you on the next episode.